Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where, what place in the world you are in. Welcome to the Colmena launch event. I'm Mariana from Redes AC in Mexico, and together with Risper, we'll be your moderators for today's exciting agenda. This session, by the way, is going to be recorded and uploaded afterwards on different channels. So all of the partners and also the Colmena website. So you can look at them on it later, or for the people who couldn't connect in this moment. Today, the event will take place in English, and we know that it's a burden for some, and that maybe also it cannot be understood in other languages. But we are very glad to inform you that there will be some events happening in the regions in more languages. Also, feel free to share questions or comments at any moment in the chat, or directly asking in the language you feel comfortable with. Let's kick things off with a brief overview of what we have in store. And for this, I will pass the microphone to my friend Risper.
Thank you so much, Mariana. I'm so excited that we are all here for the Colmena launch event. Over the next hour, we'll be delving into the world of Colmena, starting with a live demo where we'll be shown, we'll be taken through the Colmena platform. This will be followed by insights from community voices. And then we'll have a peek into the technological background, which will then be followed with introduction to the consortium and its partners. And then after that, we will hear visions for the future. And of course, we'll also have ample time to hear your questions and also your comments. So without further ado, let's get started. Back to you, Mariana.
Thank you very much, Risper. So now that we know what the agenda is, we are very thrilled to have you here, and as we embark on this journey with Colmena. We are very excited to start with our first activity. That is going to be a live demo of Colmena. So I think that we are all ready to dive in with this. So I think that that Risper, you can tell us about a little bit about this demonstration, and also pass it on to our friend Mel, so he can show us this live demo.
Yes, so from the live demo, we'll be witnessing Colmena in action, and we'll be taken through this with our colleague Melchizedek Mirasi. So please join us in exploring its functionalities, its features, and also we'll go through the software and demonstrate in real life editing the features Colmena offers. So if you have any questions, just have them on the chat, and then we can get into them after the presentation. So I take this opportunity to welcome Melchizedek Mirasi. Feel free to go ahead and share.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Mariana. Thank you, Arispa. My name is Melchizedek, but that is a mouthful, so people just call me Mel. So that's why that's what you're seeing on my as my name. So I'll go ahead and share my screen, and as Arispa and Mariana has shared, so this is going to be a live demo of Colmena. So let's dive into the journey together. Just as an intro, or for those who are interacting with Colmena for the first time, Colmena is a free and open source and mobile-friendly digital media toolbox for local and community media organizations. And the tool allows basically grassroots media organizations to produce their content, mostly audio content. So this is the interface of the Colmena, the landing page of the tool at the moment. Of course, so we can see, the different features and functionalities on the screen. And because the tool is meant for media organizations, so let's say maybe how do you set up your profile on Colmena? So an organization here, just through the hamburger menu, if you click on the hamburger menu, and there are these options here, and a media organization, for example, here we can see you can upload your, the media's logo, the company's logo, and the name and all other details here. Apart from there, of course, we have the team. So team, basically, this is where the interactions, majority of interactions or group interactions, teamwork happens. So for example, for Tanda, if I click on Tanda, I'll be able to see all the chat. So in this chat, we have 3 members. It's me, Vivian, and Neto. And as you can see, there have been some discussion going on in the chats. We have an amazing idea of a podcast episode that we wanted to produce, but more on that later on. We have the space. So space is where you store your files, so your private files and ideas and notes, and of course the search functionality. And where the creation happens, it's in the mobile studio, where we have both the recorder and the editor. So for example, if you want to record an audio, for a podcast, or you want to edit your recording, so this is where you come to. So in our case, we had an idea, Vivian and I, to record a podcast episode on the solar eclipse that just happened a couple of days ago. So I'll just go ahead with that to demonstrate to you guys how that how that works. So when I can record, of course, I can just record the audio right here. Oops, I need to get this. Okay. So this is the interface of the recorder. So by just a click of a button, very minimalistic and effective appearance user interface for the recorder. So just by a click of a button, and I'm able to record, and that's what you can, as you can see on your screen. So that is what is happening. You can see the waves. The recording is ongoing, and then I can pause, of course, or I can end the recording at once. So that is if I'm recording an audio, recording a podcast. There's also a very important feature here. So instead of just, once I've recorded my audio, instead of now closing this interface to go back and then access the recorder, downloading these all together and then accessing the editor, I have this button here, which by a click of a button, I'm able to access I'm able to access the editor. So you can see all the options here. All the editing options here. We can discuss more about this. Yeah, so this is, for example, I would assume this is my first recording. So this is my first recording of our podcast episode with Vivian. So let's see. Let's add a background sound to my recording. So I'll just click here to import an audio, and use this one as my background sound. And as you can see, now I have my audio recording, and I have the background sound, the music, the background music, if you may say. And again, I can even add, for example, in this case, I don't have an outro, so an outro to our podcast. So say maybe I want to add an outro to this podcast. So what I'll just either go back to, because now this one I'll just record. So I just go back to my to the recorder. Okay. You should be able to give them. Okay. So I click to access the recorder, and then I just start recording. So thank you everyone for listening to our podcast, our first episode on the solar eclipse of 2024. We tune into another episode. So that's that. So that will form now. So that will form the outro of our podcast. As you can see, here's the recordings. I go back and just go back to the editor. So here I'm at the editor, and then I can say move it because it's the outro. I just move it towards the end. So I just come to selection and move, and then shift, and then I'll be able to move my audio across, as you can see. Yeah, so that is a quick overview of how the recording, the recorder and the editor works. Of course, it's still more features to be added and everything. But that's where we are. I mean, you can cut, you can trim, and split your audio. Yeah, so basically that's a quick overview of how those two options work. But I want us to also explore a bit on the other aspects of the tool as well. So I mean, of course, recording and editing are very, very important, but there are other features as well that needs to be highlighted. For example, we have the emergency feature here. So this feature allows, for example, I mean, Colmena, the development of the tool has been together. We've been developing the tool with the local media organizations, which act as the partners to the project. And so one feature that was highlighted, especially among the Ukrainian users, is the security. I mean, looking at the situation in Ukraine. So there's the users express the need for emergency that enables something that will enable them, when you're using Colmena, to deactivate the accounts, more of like as a security feature. So once by click of the emergency button, the user will be able to wipe out all their content and deactivate the account on Colmena in cases of emergency. So that is something that we find to be quite important, and something that has also indicates the importance of including the users of Colmena in the development process. Of course, that is just one, but there are many other aspects of the tool that the users have helped us, that have helped to shape, how the users have helped to shape the development of the tool. Of course, other aspects of the tool being able to use offline as opposed to only online. Because, for example, in Kenya, where 4 of our media organizations are located, there, some of them are located in interior or where the broadband has not reached. So in that case, having a tool that enables them to record and to produce their content even when they are offline is something that is primary to them. And just like that, Colmena tries. I mean, Colmena puts that into consideration and makes sure that the Colmena is able to work. The tool is able to work even in areas with low connectivity. So just to highlight those, I think that's my presentation and a quick overview of how the tool works. So in case of any questions, we should be able to tackle them. Maybe just use the chat box, and then we'll be able to tackle some of the questions later on. But thank you, everyone, and I take it back to Mariana and Rispa.
Thank you very much, Mel, for this walkthrough of Colmena, and also this demonstration and live recording editing of this idea you had with Vivienne. Also, I think that it's very interesting how this tool of emergency was brought to Colmena. I think that is very important for many regions and also the context in all of the regions. And we are all sure very excited for every creative production that is made with this tool, and also from all the connections that have been made during the years thanks to Colmena. So talking about this topic precisely, I think that it's very crucial to hear from those who directly have been impacted by Colmena. So now, in this section that is called Voices from the Communities, we'll now listen about to various people from various communities and their experiences. In this section, we will learn about results and milestones from the regions within the last years. So I am very much pleased to introduce you to Michelle Nogales, that is from this media outlet source from Bolivia. And she will talk about her experience and participation in Colmena. I also know that there is a program that is going to be published by Canto de Sensontles, that is an effort from various indigenous communities in Latin America that is made about this Colmena process. So I will let the microphone to Michelle so she can share about us this experience, and also that she could maybe talk about us what's going to be about this podcast that is going to be published from the media in Latin America. So Michelle, the microphone is yours.
Thank you, Mariana. Can you hear me? Yes. Great. Hello, everyone. It's nice to see you. I see a lot of familiar faces here, so I'm happy to see you guys, girls. Well, my name is Michelle. I am from Bolivia, the heart of South America. And first, I want to greet all the people who is from this region. So I will speak a little bit in Spanish. Nada, quería saludar un poco a nuestras compañeras Jenny Paucar, a Cancuana, Pablo, Aldo, Sandra, también veo a David, Adrián, de este lado del mundo, así que todos ustedes han sido clave para Colmena, así que sería lindo que estén acá, pero bueno, aquí estamos haciendo la representación. I was just greeting everyone from Colmena, the Colmena team in Latin America, and just saying that it will be great to have them here, but here I am, like making the representation from all of us. Well, actually, this was important for me because this whole Colmena process is a collective process, it's a collaborative process. So all these years has been like a lot of work, but we have been working together also. So Colmena is the result of that, you know, it's this process, long process, talking to each other, knowing the territories from other people, from other regions. And I think that's the biggest thing about Colmena, because everyone took something from their own territory, from their own experiences, and bring it to the whole hive, to the whole Colmena experience. So that's how it has been, this construction, this collective construction process. And I think that something is really valuable is like to get to know each other, to get to know how this podcast or radio shows has been made from these territories. And we have been learning a lot, you know, we had all these meetings together, and in every meeting it was sharing something important from every one of us, knowing how this experience is going in the Amazonian jungle or in the Amazonian territory or in the Andean peaks, you know, it's like very rich from that side. And I think that Colmena has all these small needs, but that also reflect like the biggest needs, you know, like from the partners from Africa or the other sides of the world. And that's really nice, you know, that you could collect all these learnings, all these needs, and put it into one thing that is Colmena. So I'm very happy for that. I'm very thankful for that too, because we saw that Colmena has a lot of potential, that it can be a tool that we can take it to the rural areas in Bolivia, to far regions, not only to journalists or communicators, but also to activists who are now struggling with some environmental issues, or maybe struggling with the machistic stuff or patriarchy stuff in Bolivia that is very hard for us. So I think that Colmena has all these opportunities open, to create content, to be used by people who is not necessarily a journalist or doesn't have all this knowledge about how to use an audio editor program. So I think that is all the future that I see in Colmena. And about this podcast that just mentioned Mariana, the podcast is really beautiful, really diverse, because everyone just made a small part of the podcast with their own characteristics, with their own sweet part of the region from where we are talking to. It's like a big mixture, is like a big recipe. We're going to have a beautiful dessert, to say it in one way, that has many flavors from all these regions. So in this podcast, you will hear about our own experiences, how we contributed to this Colmena process, how we created, what we have been learning from it. And I think that's something that was really valuable from this process, is that we had a time when we share from our knowledge to the other people from Colmena in South America and Latin America, where we have been learning from all this knowledge and all this wisdom from our partners. So I think that's something that you will hear in the podcast, and I hope you can feel all this warmth that we just have between the Colmena Latin American partners. So that's everything from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michelle. It is always a pleasure to hear you, and we are very grateful that you were able to be here today. But not only in this event, but that you are very present in the process of Colmena in the region of Latin America. So I think that your participation as a feminist group and as a person is very important for Colmena. And we are sure looking forward to hear this podcast. I hope that everyone has the opportunity to hear it. And thank you. Very excited and very grateful. And now we have also a great participation from Africa. That is Ken from Pwani FM. And we are going to talk about a little bit about the strengthening of the network, but also the webinar series and experience in MVP testing. But I let the microphone to you, Ken. Thank you very much for being here today.
Sorry, it's evening in Kenya here, so I'll greet you guys. Good evening. My name is Ken Wekesa from Pwani FM in Kenya. I'm really happy to be here today. I would say that I'm really proud to be part of this innovation, just to see how the things are going with Colmena here back in Africa. I will share with you guys what we at Pwani FM have been doing with Colmena. So we see Colmena as a game changer coming in. It's a tool that we at Pwani FM see that will revolutionize how we do our work. And we have been using it in news collection and with our local reporters who are outside town, because Pwani FM we are located in Mombasa town, but we work also with the journalists who are outside town, areas where we have low internet connection, areas that have poor internet connection, also areas where we have very poor, I would say, electricity access. So since we started working with Colmena, because for us, it has really made work easier for us as journalists, those who are on the ground. So one area that it really stood out for us, we realized that Colmena is like a digital newsroom where you could keep track of what other journalists are doing. So it has made work easier for us. And journalists who are back in the ground are looking at a tool that has made work for them easier. Another area where also we are really looking forward after this launch is to integrate our podcasting platform into Colmena. Looking at Colmena, it as a tool that will host our podcast and also help us distribute our podcast. So we are working on a climate change podcast, and this is an area where we are really, really passionate about with this app, because I can, one thing about it, you can record on your phone, edit on your phone, do everything on your phone. And it's something that has made it look easier for all of us around. Also, we had an opportunity to participate in a series of workshops during the Colmena, I think during the Colmena testing period, and that opportunity gave us an opportunity to share with other content creators in Kenya, media partners, community registration managers. We had an opportunity to share with them what Colmena is all about. We had and it was we had a very positive engagement with them. We look at the challenges that we have right now in media. One of the things that really stood out for us, they found Colmena to be a tool that will create collaboration with other media stations, especially community stations here in Kenya, so that and also most of content creators that we spoke to were looking at it as a tool that will also help in fighting disinformation and miscommunication back here in Kenya, which is also it's also a challenge. Also, we had an opportunity to share areas where Colmena would really come to help the community, especially in sharing information here in Kenya with the community. And we were also looking at it as a tool that very soon, if we get support, everybody come on board, it might help. I believe it will help community registration also make revenue from it. And also during the testing, the audio recording tool in Colmena, the editing tool in Colmena, working in areas where you have low internet, it is something that really stood out for us. And we are looking forward to more engagement and more interaction with the Colmena app back here in Kenya and Africa, and also share with other community registrations that are here in Africa and Kenya in general.
Well, thank you very much, Ken. I think that it has been great to hear you and also to know the difference, right? Of what has been happening in Latin America and in Africa, how the regions really determine how Colmena is useful. So I think that it's very rich, and we are also very grateful for you to being able here. But also very grateful for your partners and for everyone that has been participating in this process, because we really think that communities is what keep Colmena alive, and that it is the purpose since day one, right? To have this kind of interactions, results, and creative processes and sharing between people. So we are very grateful for you, Michelle and Ken, for sharing the highlights in your regions. So now I will pass the microphone to Risper, that is going to introduce to us to our next step here in this launch, that is going to be the technological background of Colmena. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mariana, and thank you for our presenters. And it's really great to hear from voices from the community and some of the experiences, some of the challenges, and also some of the lessons learned. Just to remind you that there's a lot of conversation that is ongoing on the chat. Niels has posted a couple of links. If you want to know much more about Colmena, there's the Colmena website, as well as also the podcast that have been mentioned during the presentations. So next on, as Mariana has mentioned, we will get into the technological background of Colmena. And here we will try to understand the technology behind Colmena. We all know that we've heard about the platform itself, and also voices from the communities that have used the platforms. And now it's essential that we understand also the technology behind the platform. So let's take a few moment to delve into the technological foundation of Colmena. For that, I would like, it will be an interview, and I will interview our colleague from Cambá, Neto Lisursi. I hope I've said it correctly, who is based in Argentina and is leading the technological development of Colmena. Just to confirm that Neto is in the room.
How are you? Yeah, here.
Great. How are you? Yes, so as I said, this will be in an interview format. And the first question that we have is software creation is always a digital construction sites with lots of surprises. So what was the biggest challenge?
Well, first of all, hi everyone. Hola a todos. Nice to hear about the folks of the communities that are using Colmena and doing this great job of community communication in the different countries and continents. So it's our inspiration to work in this project. Regarding the question, one of the biggest challenges we think that was prioritizing the features that we have to address and defining the MVP. Colmena is a beautiful and ambitious project that includes a lot of tools for radio production and communication, and that makes hard to choose which functionalities or features we will develop in a with limited resources and limited time. So that was a difficult decisions to make. But we think that working with the entire team, not only the development team, we could achieve some goals that are important from at least for this stage of Colmena. The other important thing I think is not like a challenge, but I want to mention it is that Colmena is an open source project, and it uses a lot of open source tools. Like, for example, we use Nextcloud, that is a open source cloud to manage the files, or we are using Nextcloud for the API of the chat tool, and we use Django for the backend and Butterfly for the front end, that are all open source tools. And during the development process, we contribute to those projects. So we could like do our apport to the community, and now those projects are a little bit better, and the whole community can use those improvements.
Thank you so much, Neto. I really do appreciate the fact that even in the development stage of Colmena, it was not just the technological team, the technical team working on it solely, but it was all a very collaborative process, as you mentioned, engaging the community here in different stages of the development of the project, of the platform. The second question is, we know that DW Akademie and consecutively also other partner will offer Colmena as a hosted service. And media organizations also want to install Colmena on their servers. Can they do this?
Well, currently it is possible to deploy the application in the same way that we did in both the development environments and the DW Academy instance. However, this strategy requires like an intermediate or advanced skills, technical skills, and it's not designed as a software distribution strategy, because it doesn't include the updates of the software. But in this period, we have made a technical proposal to achieve this feature, we base our proposal in the work of another developer of the team, and we know that it is possible to make Colmena easily deployable to others servers. And now the next step is work with the consortium. I think we will talk about the consortium later, and finding the ways to achieve the strategies to achieve these features. But we know that it's possible, and we know how to do it.
Thank you so much. That's very exciting that it's possible to make Colmena deployable to other servers. The next question is, at a previous moment, Colmena offered different features such as text editor or an audio conferencing tool. Will this be integrated into Colmena anytime soon?
Well, this is another question that is that we need to address as a consortium, right? As a worker cooperative, Cambá, we made the decision of be part of this project and contribute to the necessary work to maintain the development infrastructure and the tools that the consortium needs for its daily operations, like the cloud, emails, etc. Also, we provide some development work in small issues, on small functionalities, but this contribution that we are doing now, now that the first stage is finished, is not enough to achieve like entire functionalities. So, like these features that you mentioned. So, we understand that we need to work together in finding the resources to have the time and the team to work on these functionalities.
Thank you so much. I know some of us are asking, what exactly is this consortium that you're talking about? We will hear about it later on the as we progress in this webinar. So I have one last question, and just a reminder to the participants is that you can ask your questions on the chat, and we'll pick them the tail end of this session. So feel free to do that. So the last question, Nato, is from a developer's perspective. Colmena is open source, but how can interested persons participate or contribute to the development of Colmena?
Well, first of all, regarding the question in the chat, there are other members of the development team, like Santiago, Juan Pablo, Charlie, and Emma. They could answer also the questions, and I will use this moment to say hi to all my folks from Cambá, that are other members present also. And well, regarding the question, Colmena is an open source project, and as such, it is open to contributions. Currently, people who use the project's code repositories will find some guidelines for contributing. Yes, and we have a task boards where are the places the things that we need to do. And there is also a community of practices repository when non-technical users can report issues or propose improvements to the tool. And it's not necessary to be a developer. Just you can put your ideas there. And that is what we have now. But we think that there is room for improvements by establishing, for example, a roadmap for new functionalities. And also, we think that we can promote through events or hackathons this application, and invite other people to work in and collaborate in Colmena.
Thank you so much, Nito. That has been a very great interview, and just to hear from a technical point of view. Thank you for those comments, and also for sharing some of the resources that the different communities can use if they want to participate or contribute to the development of Colmena. There's the repository, the guideline, and also there's community of practice that you can engage in if you'd want to be involved in the contribution to the development of Colmena. Thank you so much, Nito, for your time. And now I'll take this time to pass the mic back to Mariana.
Thank you very much, Whisper, and the team of Cambá. We have a couple of minutes for to share about the consortium. So we have talked about a lot of what the consortium is. So maybe many of you have been wondering, what are we talking about? So I think that this is a great space to open about this topic for making the consortium and the various partners of around the world known, right? So now we are going to show you a map where you can see the various people that make possible this consortium. So I think that also it is very important that each partner is able to talk about their experience and also what each individual organization does on a daily basis, so we can learn about it. As you can see in this map, in Mexico we have redes, and our development team is Cambá. We have DW Akademie, and we have Tandanet for the moment in the consortium. So there is a various team working on this site that is like a very administrative and operational part of the work. And we are very close to what happens in the communities of practice and the different activities that occur in the regions. So I think it's a great time to talk about this, and I will pass the word on to Risper, that is going to introduce this topic to us, and then Niels. Thank you very much, Risper.
Thank you, Mariana. Yes, so we are getting into the consortium, and my role here is to invite Niels, who will then invite the stakeholders who are part of the consortium to give us an introduction to the organizations and also to tell us more about the consortium. So over to you, Neil.
Yes, hi everyone, and first of all, thanks for the great facilitation so far, and all of us that joined us. There was a broken link in the announcement, but I'm still happy to see the quite a good outturn of persons here around, and especially to see people have been there from the very beginning, from Radio Vinegre in Burkina Faso. Also, I saw mostly from Gulf Radio in Kenya, David from Redes in Venezuela. Hard to name them all, but it's great to see you here after more than 3 years that we have been working on this together and also thinking of how to sustain this. And in addition to improving the software, to establish this partner consortium for Colmena was really a central building site in the last month, and so we have goals with this to make Colmena more sustainable. The goals are from the different partners to share responsibility, I think, for fundraising and for other activities to further develop Colmena according to the needs and vision of the partners that we will hear from later, and also to create sustainable ecosystem for working in and with the software, all the organizations and the contacts that have been created, network between the different community media, so to really find ways to sustain this. So yeah, happy to announce, just to say so, that since April 1st, not at April 1st, Joe, it is official that we have like those 4 amazing organizations together with a MOU and supporting the consortium. Very quickly, we have drawn a diagram to show how the collaboration will look like. So there will be a partner assembly that will meet twice a year to plan and make consensual decisions. We will also select a rotating coordination office that yeah, will be in the hands of one of the partners also, just to see, okay, what kind of questions or requests are there around, and also to coordinate between the individual work groups, and if necessary to also to convene meetings. And then there are also 6 working groups. As you can see, I won't go into detail here, but they are divided in non-technical and technical groups. And yeah, the non-technical working groups, they will be responsible for the visibility and the fundraising, while the more technical working teams are dedicated to support infrastructure and software development. And so, yeah, as I said, we started officially in April, but we have been in a consortium mode, so to speak, for a long time, and have been planning our work together in the last month. And we will share about this in a bit. But before this, let us do a introduction round and meet the consortium members. And it's hard to pick out one now, but since David Almost from DW Academy is right in the middle of my screen, so I hand over to him. So the idea is to hear from all of you, maybe in 2 to 3 minutes, what is the organization you represent, and why did you decide to join the consortium? David, please.
Sí, es a las 9 quedamos, ¿verdad? Faltan 10 minutos.
Hello. Yeah. I think you can hear me now well. Thank you, Niels, and thank you, all of you. And before I say anything about the DW Academy, I think it's up to me to thank the German Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development, who has made this really cool initiative in media production software possible. For those of you who don't know, Deutsche Welle Academy, DW Academy, is the Deutsche Welle Center for International Media Development, Journalism Training, and Knowledge Transfer. And our mission is empowering individuals with the fundamental rights of freedom of expression and access to information. I think here we can all agree that in today's world, reliable facts and open dialogue are more important than ever. For us, let me say this project addresses a critical need for newsrooms struggling with internet connectivity. Then it can be used both online and offline. And why open source? Because we believe in collaboration and innovation, and we truly believe that open source tools like Colmena are the way forward for long-term success in the media biz. And like Neto just said, using open source for Colmena also helps other projects. It's not privative, and that's very important for us. Looking ahead, our focus is on building a thriving user community, securing funding for future developments, and establishing regional hubs. We have led this project over the last 3 years, and it's time for us to take a step back and give the stage to the consortium. Yet our vision extends beyond the consortium. We envision a global collaborative space where community radio stations can come together to share experience and best practices. And I would like to thank especially at the team at the DW Academy that made all this possible. Niels Brock, you just met him, Santiago Garcia, and Vivian Gager, who are the real heart of Colmena. They have brought to the project the spirit of collaboration, and their work reflect our commitment to empowering media organizations worldwide. That's what I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you, David, for the warm words. And so passing on to other hearts that have been part of Colmena for a long time. And Mariana, you're in the role of co-facilitating, but also to speak on behalf of Redis, if I understand correctly, or is one of your colleagues going to jump in?
Thank you very much, Niels and David. It was also nice to hear you. Well, I can speak, and maybe if Eric or Danny thinks of something that are here from my team in Redes, maybe they can complement something I say. But well, I would like to share that for everyone that doesn't know Redes, well, Redes is an organization that has been accompanying indigenous communication processes for the last 20 years. And I think that one of the most important characteristics I would like to highlight about Redes is that never technology or a project is the center. I think that from my experience, it is always the needs that are expressed by the communities. And I think that that is one of the most important parts that keeps us working in the Colmena project, and that woke our interest in being in this consortium, because we have been working with media around Latin America for the last 3 years with this with Colmena project. And I think that it's very nice to see how these interactions between the people have produced such many nice and beautiful products and results. I think that in the conditions that many media are, and also the conditions of certain places in particular, really benefit from projects like Colmena, where the different media can share their experiences, can share their knowledges, and also it's a very good place to showcase their work, and also strengthened many formation abilities. An example is well, the various creative productions that can be made through Colmena, through the technological tools that are given by Colmena, and also by all the creative outlets that can be made through this platform. And I think that that is a very important part of Colmena, that yes, the technological part is important, and that this tool is going to be very great for communities. But I think that also a very important part is that we are very human-centered in Colmena, right? So all the relations between the people are the thing that really moves it, and the thing that keeps it all together. So I think that that is the principal reason that Redes is now working and collaborating in this consortium, is because I think that Colmena is very people-centered, and that it has always the needs of the communities and the media and the different needs of the communities, so we can keep growing, right, as a project. And yeah, I think that from Redes we are very grateful to be in this platform, and that we are very excited from what is to come for the Colmena Consortium, and for all the different media that participate in this process. So that's it from me, from Redes in Mexico. Thank you, Niels, for sharing our
My pleasure. Thanks, Mariana. And now, switching over to Tandanet, and so yeah, greeting to all the colleagues that have been part of this journey: Rispa, Josephine, John, Mel, Winnie. As you can see, also many contributors. But I think it's David Ochiel from Tandanet, who will speak on behalf of our partner briefly. David.
Thanks so much, Niels. I don't know if you could bring up the presentation up. Okay, so Tanda is delighted to be part of this consortium. Many of you might ask, what is Tanda? Tanda is a community network that is based in Kibera. Kibera is in Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya, and our focus is for connecting or using technology to reach out to the underserved or underconnected communities within the informal settlement. So maybe somebody might ask, what is a community network? A community network, in a nutshell, has three fundamental principles, that is the infrastructure, the ownership, and the access. So these networks use telecommunication infrastructure that are built, that are people-centered, that are run and managed by the communities that they serve. So after yes, this infrastructure has been built by these communities, what do they do with this infrastructure? Is they offer connectivity, and part of what Tanda does is we connect mostly, we call them safe spaces, and these safe spaces include things like health centers, education centers, youth centers, community media organization, micro small business enterprises, community-based organization, and as well we move to that are not connected. So some of the principles that makes community networks to exist is, of course, the inclusion, because you get that some communities are excluded from the digital space. It could be as a result of capacity, it could be as a result of backbone infrastructure. You get that most of these big telcos prefer areas that are accessible and that has social amenities or social infrastructure that they can leverage on. But Tanda comes in to bridge that gap that has been created by a connectivity gap. So that's why you'll hear people refer to some of this community as underserved or unconnected communities. So inclusion is one key element of a community network. Then there is that aspect of collaboration. Community networks or individuals that are within this network need to collaborate to make that ideal network that they prefer. And that ideal network, for us, what we see is a vision of fostering grassroots driven development through connectivity. And how do we get that is to catalyze digital transformation by providing one, affordable connectivity, digital scaling, and locally relevant content. So part of our strategy as standard is one, like I've said, connectivity. Yeah, we offer connectivity to underserved. We also offer storage and hosting services, because the kind of infrastructure that we have is robust. And then also we reach out to community that are able to generate content. Back home here, we call them local content creators. So these some of these connected sites, they have the way in which they want to present their stories. They want their culture, their way of work to be known. So they also makes up what we generally classify as local content. Then apart from connectivity, we have that co-creation. Co-creation element of it is bringing together and documenting, bringing together now these groups of connected individuals or connected institutions. If it is a group of community schools, how are they solving their issues or their problems using connectivity? So they could create programs. You get that part of our digital skilling initiative include developing curriculum that can leverage on the use of the online space, things like child online protection, skill trainings. These are initiatives that have come across after a result of the issues that have been identified by individuals, sites or individual organizations that we connected. So we also have convening, and convening is a matter of just documenting all these processes. And part of what we pride ourselves in is we've been able to conduct Kenya National School of Community Networks. This is other organizations within Kenya that are interested to understand what does it take to start up a community network, what does it take to run a community network, and what does it take to sustain this community network. So there are documented processes that include things like training that we've taken around 11 community networks across Kenya, who also champion the work of community networks. So in a nutshell, that is what we do. And why the interest to be part of this consortium? Of course, we want to use open source softwares. We want to be the drivers or the catalyst of what is happening at the grassroots, because there are so many hidden voices that people do not understand that are happening within our communities. So, and you get that there are certain narratives that the mainstream media have created around communities. But when you come to the ground, you get that these are contrary to what these mainstream media organizations have been pushing. So we are happy also to bring in the aspect of other community media organizations that we work with to this platform. We've also seen that this application can be accessed not only online, but it can as well be accessed offline. So with the vast experience and the infrastructure that we possess at this moment, we saw it need also to contribute to this consortium. So thank you, Niels, and back to you.
Thank you, David. Wow, this was also quite a tour around all the work that Tandanet is doing. I'm not aware of your current website. If there is any resource to share, please do. And last but not least, of course, our fourth consortium member, Cambá. And I think it's Nico who is going to share briefly about the work of Cambá, especially why you decided to join the consortium. Nico.
I think I will take the microphone.
Neto,
well,
welcome
yes,
too.
Thank you. Well, Cambá is a workers cooperative, a technological workers cooperative. We started with this project like 10 years ago with the aim to put our work or as workers of the technology industry to favor the people or the organizations that we want to be successful, that are the organization of the communities or the workers organizations and that kind of people. So we started the cooperative, and in the development of the cooperative, we also are members of FACTIC. FACTIC is the Argentinian Federation of Technology Cooperatives. We are like 40 cooperative companies that we are part of this federation, and we also work in an international level with Patio, that is the global network of technology cooperatives. We have the same values in different countries and different continents, and we are joining forces to work together in order that having another view of the technology, another view of the technology industry, and another view about what we can do with these tools. We also, as a cooperative, have this. We work for the technology industry. We create application systems and that kind of things. And we also have an educational project that is the Laboratorio de Tecnologías Creativas, or like the Creative Technology Labs, where we share our knowledge with other people, with children, with teenagers, with the students, and we are working with some technology open spaces where we provide the computers and the connectivity in rural areas to work with, in order to people can have access to these tools in a moment in our country where the government are cutting off all the resources for the education, for the public health. We think that we have as a technology workers, we have a responsibility to put our work to improve the people's life and our life. We are part of the community, of this community and this country, so it's important for us to be to do this kind of initiatives to improve, trying to improve the people's life and our community life. And in that sense, I want to also say hi to the folks from Radio Aijuna and Una Radio Muchas Voces, that are radios from Argentina that they are present here. And we joined the Colmena project because we have been working with community radios. We are part of community radios in our local places also, and we found it like a really nice project to work, because we can put our own knowledge and work to improve the important work of the independent journalists and the community radios, that they do a really important work in the communities, because as someone said, there are hidden voices and there are a lot of things that are happening in different places that they are not we don't have the notion about what is happening. So we want to support this kind of initiatives, and we like open source, so it was the perfect project for us. And I also want to thank, as you say, Niels, to the whole team of DW Academy, because it was like a really nice work with them, and we learn a lot in this process, and we know that we have a lot for in the future for work and learn about how to create digital tools for the community.
Thank you so much, Neto. And so since we are a bit over time, just speeding up, we prepared also a short slide of what we have mapped out as consortium so far in terms of priorities for next month to come. Thank you for sharing, Vivian. So one of the things to unlock are the regional hubs. So as a software as a service, Colmena will be available on one server from next week onwards. And for us, it's a priority to also create more regional hubs with TandaNet in Nairobi, but also with partners in Colombia with Colnodo. Additional features are a big topic. So as was said before, there are features that we tested in the beta version and that we would like to bring back to the first full version, and this is also on our schedule. We will continue working also on the training materials and the training of multipliers, so that it's easy also for community medias to get onboarded. And finally, I think also a wish that was there from the beginning, to think of a kind of an exchange platforms or collaborate spaces where the community media that Mariana was mentioning before would also have a space to further exchange both their productions, but also to collaborate. And yeah, that's is all on our map. I'm a bit afraid to give back the word to all the organizations now because of the time, but please, if there is anything that you would add from your side, you're very welcome. And yeah, passing back the mic also back to Risper. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Niels. And thank you for the partner organizations that are part of the consortium that I've shared. It's really great to hear the interest behind the consortium. A lot of it is really centered around community need. That then comes to back up this technological innovation, which it's very, very inspiring. So because of time, we'll give this opportunity to the audience. If there's any question, we can take 2 or 3 questions. If there's any question with regards to the platform, to Cambá, to our technological partners, NATO, or to the consortium, feel free to unmute and ask your question or insights or comments.
Hello. So is this a place where, first of all, I'm speaking from Timor-Leste, a little town called Bocao. So my question is this a platform where, for example, in let me say 5 individuals from one radio station could work on one story, all in different places, but they work on one piece of a radio file? Oh,
Thank you. Is the question around the functionality, if the platform can be able to host 5 people who are collaborating in on a story or a project? Is that a question? Okay.
Correct. We call it a project, yes.
Okay. I don't know if Mirase is in the room. Or Niels, if you can take this question up.
Yeah, thanks, Risper. I can also take this question. So, and yeah, thanks for joining from Timor-Leste. Might be already late where you are now. So thanks for hanging in. So yes, the idea is that on the service platform that we have, media outlets can either join existing newsrooms that are more open sharing spaces, or they can also set up newsrooms for their media outlets. So the space can be requested, and within our capacities, we will do what we can to support while our infrastructure is growing. But the idea is, yes, that so different persons from the same team, they would share the same chat room, and within this, it is possible to produce content. So Colmena works as an app. You don't need an app store. It's a progressive web application, so it works with the browser. So from your smartphone, for instance, you can access it. You can also work offline with it, for instance, doing the recording. And once you have connectivity, it is shared with the other collaborators of your group, and then you can collectively edit the material until we have it ripe for publication. So that is the idea in a nutshell.
Thank you so much, Niels. And thank you, Ochan, for that question. Is there any other question that we have? We can take one more question. All right. I guess the presentations were clear to everyone, and we got the gist of the platform as well as of the consortium. Still feel free to use the chat if you have any other question. And at this point, I would like to pass over the mic to Mariana.
Thank you very much, Risper. So now that we heard about all these great experiences, we would like to, like as a way to conclude our event, we would like to cast our eyes towards the future. So what can we expect from Colmena Consortium in the incoming months? We will share some insights to wrap up our session. First, Risper will share about us from a disinformation event webinar that they are having. So Risper, if you can kindly briefly share us something about this webinar.
Yes, thank you, Mariana. We are hosting a workshop, and first of all, an in-person workshop with the grassroots communities to just have discussion around community-based and gender transformative approaches to fight disinformation. So we'll be having this workshop tomorrow, and a lot of the learnings, a lot of the experiences will then be shared during our virtual webinar workshop, which will be hosted on the 18th of this month. 18th of this month at 12 UTC. So feel free to all join. We'll hear from diverse stakeholders, including also the views from the communities with regards to how grassroots communities are fighting disinformation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Risper. And from Redes, that we are in Latin America, as a part of an advocacy process that we initiated in Central America, both with the Central American Training Program guided by our technological autonomy area of Redes, as well as some advocacy actions. We will have an event that in English is entitled Telecommunications in Remote Areas and Indigenous Communities, Trends, Opportunities, and Perspectives for Central America. In this forum, we have invited different people around the world to analyze through panels and thematic tables with specialists from the International Telecommunications Union, representatives of the government of Guatemala and the local actors themselves, the experiences and regulatory public policy trends, good practices, that allow the promotion of community communication projects in order to establish a path for political advocacy that allows development in this area for the Central American region. And also an important thing to mention is that since the ITU commemorates the International Day of Women and Girls in ICTs on April 25, we will open a space for discussion about this topic to understand the existing challenges in this area. This forum will be public, and it will be inside in Guatemala in this month, in exactly like 10 days. But feel free to join us online because we will be streaming the event, so we can also share our thoughts in this topic that is very important. So that would be from my part. And then Yes, of course, as Daniela is sharing in the chat, if there's someone in Guatemala, please join us on site. But if you can't be able to travel or to be there with us, you can also join online. So that's great. And now to wrap up this session, we also have a last event that is going to be participating in the forum, the Media Associatives and Communitaires in Morocco. And there we will be introducing and involving community media and journalists from the region into the world of Colmena, and also training them to become multipliers in the region and using Colmena in their new coverage. For sure, we look forward to these events, and we will be reporting on the Colmena blog. Also, we will be updating the website in other upcoming events, so you can find out there's happening in your region, so you can get more involved with the tool itself. And also, this is very important to mention, in other languages. Today we presented in English, but for sure, there is other events in different languages in different regions, so we can keep up on dating on that. So to wrap up this amazing event, we would like to thank to all our speakers, participants, and of course to our audience for joining us today. Your presence and engagement had made this launch event truly memorable, and I think that we for sure have to continue collaborating and innovating with Colmena. So from my part here in Mexico, I would like to salute everyone, and well, until next time, take care and goodbye.
Thank you all. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you. See you soon.